Douglas Murray absolutely destroys Islam and Islamic societies on the Patrick Bet David podcast on the Valuetainment network. And I really suggest you go and watch it. So let's watch the clip together, and I'm going to give you a running commentary of it.
Most important insights I've ever stumbled upon in my life in relation to that is there's a particular problem in the Islamic world which people don't really talk about very much, but it's this, that the Quran is meant to be the final revelation of God to man, the final revelation. There's none after it. And all the revelations that come before in the Abrahamic religions are part of Islam.
Exactly. So in the Quran, it says that this is the last word of Allah, and after Islam, there can be no religion, and that is the last revelation of God. And hence why all other religions, such as the Jews and the Christians, have to convert to Islam, because it's a running thing. And Muhammad was the last messenger of God or Allah. Okay, so hence why they see every other religion as sinners, because they're like, well, you haven't converted to Islam yet. And that's how Islam seeks to dominate societies and Islamize the whole world, because they believe that every single human being should convert to Islam.
If you are the recipients of the final word, and you are the followers of that word, and the followers of that prophet and that God, why is your society not working?
Exactly. Why is your society not working? Why is it that every single society, such as Afghanistan, Pakistan, the more religious fundamentalist you are, especially Islamic fundamentalists, the more you are behind in the world, the worse you treat women, the less you achieve in terms of science. And all the countries such as Saudi Arabia, UAE and Qatar, the reason why they've developed so rapidly in the last few years is because they got rid of fundamentalist Islam in their societies. They are prospering not because of Islam, but without it.
And why are other societies working? I think this is a deep psychological problem within much of the Muslim world, which is we thought we were the winners theologically. We're the ones who got the final revelation. And I think, by the way, that much of the anti-Americanism, the anti-Zionism, and anti-Westernism in much of the Muslim world falls down to this fact somewhere at its root, which is how come they're doing better than us when we were told that we were best? And I think it causes serious cognitive dissonance. It's one of the reasons why the Muslim world is so vulnerable to conspiracy theory. It's why when a shark attack happened at Sharm el Sheikh 10 years ago, the local authorities said that the shark that had eaten the bather at the most popular tourist resort in Egypt had been sent by the Zionists.
So exactly, why doesn't your societies work if you are the last revelation from God? And why do you always immigrate to Christian countries and then seek to convert Christians into Muslims? So you bring in your misery that you escaped from to the country that you immigrate to. And if Islam is the last word, then why isn't your societies working? Like, honestly, think about it. And why should we be living by laws set 1,400 years ago? Now, look, I'm not a religious person. I'm not Muslim and I'm not Jewish. And at the same time, I'm not atheist. I feel like all religions are just a perspective on spirituality, and they all seek to govern and dominate. Islam being the most militant one, but all other religions are the same. However, the problem with Islam compared to, like, let's say Judaism and Christianity is that Christianity and Judaism, to some extent, they went through their own age of Renaissance and their own age of enlightenment, and they're much older, so they've evolved. The problem with Islam is that it's a very rigid religion, and you cannot change it. You cannot say, well, because they believe this is the word of Allah, and no man can argue with the word of Allah. And hence why the more Islamic fundamentalist you are, the more atrocities and the more backward your society is. And people talk about the Islamic Golden Age, and they say, well, during the Islamic Golden Age, Islam came up with all these ideas, so on and so forth. But that's a lie. Islam and Muslims dominated other countries, invaded other countries, killed civilians that didn't convert, and then they stole their inventions and said, well, this is our invention now, and they put it under Islam. But in reality, it was like, for example, the Persians that invented it. So the Islamic Golden Age actually came as a result of Muslims conquering lands such as Persia and then stealing their invention and then claiming it's theirs. Your societies, if you're the lost revelation, then why doesn't your society work? And I've made many videos about this question in Islam. Then why do you immigrate to Christian countries all of a sudden? No matter what you want to say about the Jews, they are 0.2% of the total global population, yet they are responsible for 30% of all Nobel Prizes and inventions. People like Einstein and Tesla, they were all Jewish. Okay, as I said, I'm not a religious person, and that's why the Islamic world is so vulnerable to conspiracy theories, because they think to themselves, well, we were the lost revelation, then how comes all these Jews are outperforming us, and why do they control so much money, and so on and so forth? And that's why they come up with this lie and this conspiracy of Zionism. Well, the reason why the Jews are so successful is because they're Zionists, and they are corrupt, and they're stealing money, so on and so forth, and they're stealing land. I want my Muslim friends to answer this question. If you think that Islam and Muhammad was the last prophet and the last messenger and the last revelation by God, then why doesn't your societies work? And why is it that when societies move away from Islam, that's when they start to prosper, as evidenced by Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar? Thank you for watching this video.